Today I am going to explain the planning process for the implementation of an electronic performance scorecard software at a small community hospital. Before we begin, I would like to give permission to my instructor to post the following plan on the web. The customer for this project is going to be a small suburban community hospital called Holy Name Hospital. Due to the closing of several other area hospitals over the past few years, Holy Name has found its patient base expanding. Currently, each department within the hospital has its own software to create and assess performance metrics. It is difficult to coordinate hospital-wide reports with such decentralization, and the printing costs are getting quite expensive. This is a quote from the hospital. As you can see, the hospital is looking for a way to improve their current practices. They need to figure out a way to centralize their reports. To help address the problems they are facing, Holy Name, after exploring several other options, has decided to implement McKesson's Horizon Business Insight, or HBI, software. This software will allow each department within the hospital to report its data to a centralized location, which can be accessed by any authorized employee. For example, this means that all members of the senior management team can access every performance metric from their laptop. No request must be made for a report to be compiled by each department, and no paper or printing is necessary. Based on other comparable hospitals that have implemented HBI, this is expected to save Holy Name a staggering $80,000 per year. Beyond the tangible costs, productivity will no doubt increase, as employees will now be able to perform other tasks and not focus on compiling weekly. The estimates used in this project should be considered reliable because I consulted with 2 employees at the Good Samaritan Hospital System of Lebanon, Pennsylvania, who had helped with a similar implementation at their facility. These sources were most beneficial when helping me to approximate the length of the project. Using a journal article I found and the estimate talk estimate process, I made an educated guess about the length of the implementation process. My initial guess was that the process would last 8 months. My sources from the hospital explained to me that they were working on a very tight deadline when they did their project, and pushed very hard to meet their goal, and they were able to complete it in 3 months. However, they cautioned that this was probably not the best goal to shoot for because they were forced to go back and make modifications after the go-live date. Therefore, after re-evaluating my estimates, I concluded that the project will probably last just over 6 months. I also gained other important estimates from my communication with these experts at Good Samaritan. They told me that there were about a dozen members of what they deemed the project task force. These members were from the finance department, the IT department, and the patient satisfaction department. There were also consultants provided by McKesson who helped with the implementation. Furthermore, although they could not disclose exact numbers, I was told a project like this would cost a few $100,000. Here is a screenshot of the project management software for this project, with all of the major tasks collapsed. As you can see by looking at the first line, the project is scheduled to last just over 5 months, from the end of February. This slide shows screenshots from the project management software of the entire list of activities. These activities will be discussed more thoroughly in the following slides. The goal of the first few tasks is very preliminary. These tasks are shown here with their corresponding sections of the project's Gantt chart. Holy Name Hospital must determine the needs of the hospital, find employees who would serve well as project team members, and select the specific elements that they will need in their software. The middle group of tasks is the main part of the implementation and is going to take the most amount of time. Fortunately, many of these tasks shown here can be completed simultaneously. In these set of tasks, the project team is going to begin developing the performance scorecards and configuring the software for each of the major departments that will be affected by this change. Again, these tasks and their corresponding sections of the Gantt chart are shown in this slide. The last section of tasks will be the final steps of the implementation. The project team must compile information and publish a report to test that everything is working properly before the team is disassembled, and they should also conduct an initial evaluation to gauge immediate end-user responses. This slide shows the critical path for the first several tasks highlighted on the. This slide shows the remainder of the critical path. The communication plan is an extensive document detailing the means and methods of communication between team members. Effective communication is crucial to completing the software implementation on time. Team members will be able to make use of several forms of modern technology to communicate, including email, conference calls, internet, and intranet. This is the communication matrix I drafted for the HBI implementation project at Holy Name Hospital. It lists all meetings necessary for the project, how frequently these meetings will occur, who will attend, what will be discussed, and who is responsible for planning. Team members who will be working closely on this project include a project manager, several project team members, a lead administrator, a software architect, a consultant from McKesson, and a The scope management plan is intended to provide a broad overview of the project being completed. One component is the mission statement, which, according to my scope management plan, is to transform the performance scorecard management system at Holy Name Hospital from a multi-program, decentralized system into a centralized system intended to increase efficiency and ease of use and to save money. The main project objective is to implement the McKesson Horizon Business Insight software at Holy Name Hospital. The justification is that Holy Name needs this system to improve a process that is not currently working optimally. It will yield both tangible and intangible savings. Also, the scope management plan acknowledges that changes will occur during this process. First, bumps will occur in the road during the implementation, and the team members must adapt. On a broader level, organizational changes and transformations will be taking place, and all employees at the hospital must learn to deal with the changes and ready themselves for the future. Changes will be communicated via notices, then through detailed explanations for affected parties, then via one-on-one meetings if this is deemed necessary. The estimated budget for this project is $300,000, based on the information I received from the two sources I contacted. This seems like a sufficient sum of money to effectively and efficiently implement the HBI software. In addition to the software costs, there are other costs that will surely arise during the process. Some team members may earn overtime, and the team will probably want to give out thank you gifts for its hardworking team members. The most important resources for a successful process will be staff, office space, and time. To assess the risks, I first used the risk analysis tool pictured in this slide to determine what sort of risks might be present. A major risk I foresee is that there is no firm commitment of funds at this time, but this cannot be addressed until we see in the future whether these funds come in. Another risk directly related to the implementation is that the entire project may fail. There is certainly no guarantee that the project will be completely flawless. Finally, there has been little attention paid to the development of alternative solutions. Hopefully this will not be a problem, but if the current plan ends up facing issues, then it could be risky not to have explored. According to my risk management plan, risks will be categorized based on the department they directly affect. If they affect the entire project, then the project manager will address the problem. The impact of each risk will also be assessed. Sometimes a seemingly large risk will materialize into a small issue, and other times just the opposite might happen. Therefore, a special analysis of the potential impact of the risk will be conducted. All risks will be prioritized as either emergent, urgent, or important. Issues are problems currently affecting the system, and all efforts will be made to address them immediately. Risks will be assessed as they are reported. Since a risk is something that's coming in the future, we can only make every effort to ensure that we are as prepared as possible when the risk transforms into a clear and present. This presentation has been intended to outline the major components of a plan to implement McKesson's HBI software at the Holy Name Hospital.